Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 17 online game. Today we are going over the Los Angeles Rams for the 2017-2018 NFL Preview Series. Even though they moved to a new city in Los Angeles, the Rams' story has stayed the same the past couple of seasons. Scary, vaunting defense, one of the best front sevens in football, defensive line depth all over the place. But there's nothing to talk about on the offensive side of football besides Todd Gurley. And that's the story again this year. They brought in the youngest head coach in NFL history. They try to fix these problems mainly on the offensive end, but roster-wise, I'm not sure how much they've actually fixed up. So we're going to start off with the offensive line, which was the glaring problem with this team last year. They had one of the worst offensive line units in the NFL last year. They got their, whoever played quarterback, combined, sacked the second most times out of any team last year, and the most besides a non-Cleveland Browns team, who I'm pretty sure they did not try to protect the quarterback at all with the amount of times their QBs got sacked. But the Rams guys, they got sacked nearly 50 times last year, and I don't care who the quarterback is. When there's that much pressure coming in your face so quickly, it's hard to get into a rhythm as a quarterback. It's hard to trust your reads when your offensive linemen are not going to give you the extra time to, make any sort of deep throws. We went over that a little bit with the Vikings. Bradford was turned into a check down guy, and whether it was Case Keenum or Jared Goff, whoever it is, they were pretty screwed by the offensive line, and Todd Gurley got pretty screwed over as well by that offensive line. Gurley had a great rookie year, but that offensive line last year really was a huge negative for the squad. That as good as Gurley is, he can't make up for what went wrong with that offensive line, and as a result, we went on a little bit of a downtrend last year. So the Rams, now they're trying to improve this offensive line a little bit. Saffold has been the one guy that's been around for a little bit. They drafted Havestein, and, Havestein, I believe, is going to be playing one of the guard spots this year, if not one of the tackle spots. Whoever he is, he was pretty good last year. He was drafted in the same draft that they drafted Todd Gurley. And then, of course, Jared Goff. You need Jared Goff to improve, but Jared Goff needs an offensive line to improve. So, they got a new left tackle. Glenn Robinson, that experiment is done. Now they've brought in Andrew Whitworth. A little bit up there in age, but one of the best left tackles in the league for a while now. And he's an elite guy as long as he doesn't fall apart due to that age. John Sullivan's playing the center spot, so the Rams have some guys to try to help Goff. The problem is, even if the offensive line is decent, who is Jared Goff throwing the football to? Do you know? Besides Tavon Austin, who has never really proven that he's an NFL-worthy wide receiver yet. He's more of a gadget guy that comes out the backfield and catches screens and stuff like that. Who is playing wide receiver for this team? I know Robert Woods is on this team. He's pretty okay receiver. They lost Kenny Britt, their 1,000-yard receiver. The only guy that really put up any sort of numbers last year, they actually let him walk. So Jared Goff really has not much familiarity with this wide receiving core. There's not many big names, so the Rams right now, they are in danger of really stunting Jared Goff's development. What do you think, Goff's a good quarterback or not? Because he looked really rough last year, but like I said, behind that offensive line, not really any good quarterbacks. Like, if you put Dak Prescott behind that offensive line, I don't think Dak would have done as well compared to the Cowboys offensive line. I'm not saying they're, comparable players, but nobody's really doing good behind that line. And with this receiving core, not much looks like it's going to change. If the Rams can figure it out, then they could be one of the breakout teams in the league because their defense is still really good. A little bit of questions in the secondary, but besides that, I mean, a lot of teams struggle with secondary depth, but the guys that they do have are really good. You got Trumaine Johnson returning again, Maurice Alexander. They let TJ McDonald walk, but LaMarcus Joyner is still there. The cornerback position otherwise is a little bit iffy. You got Roby Coleman, you got Webster. You're hoping that you find some diamond in the rough to help that team out. And like I said, their front seven is extremely deadly, man. Alec Ogletree, Mark Barron, young, fast linebackers. Barron, who was a steal of a trade. The Bucs pretty much gave up on him, and the Rams gave him new life by moving him to a linebacker position, and he's just been a menace ever since. And then all the guys on the defensive line that they have. Robert Quinn. You got, obviously, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald might be the best. Actually, I think it might be undisputably the best defensive tackle in football. You might make a case for a couple other guys, but Aaron Donald's production and, how quick of a defensive tackle he is, being inside and be able to break through double teams. The amount of speed and power that he has is just almost unparalleled, especially for someone undersized. You got Dominic Easley in there. You got Michael Brockers. Connor Barwin was signed this offseason. So they've still got a number of guys that can get after the quarterback and help the Rams not have a putrid record. Now, the thing about the Rams is that they've been one of the best teams at drafting the past, 5 years or so, especially when they did the RG3 trade. It was a really good trade for them. Not only did they avoid the RG3 plague that the Redskins got hit with for a little bit, they got a lot of good young guys. And the Rams have gotten a lot of value picks in later rounds in the last couple of years. When you talk about Tremaine Johnson, you talk about TJ McDonald, you're talking about Maurice Alexander. The problem for the Rams is, though, when you draft really, really high, that's when they make their mistakes. That's where they drafted Jared Goff, #1 overall pick, and that might not be the best pick. It's still TBD. I don't want to put out any judging on Jared Goff because he only had 1 year. You drafted Glenn Robinson, #2 overall pick. Bust. Absolute bust. That experiment did not work out. They traded him away. They absolutely gave up on him. So now, I mean, even Tavon Austin drafted 8th overall. The guys that they drafted really, really high in like the top 8 or so have been the biggest problems for them. And then on top of that, it's just a number of misses on the offensive line has resulted in what that unit is, and they aren't even looking that. They made some improvements to it, but they might not be like the second worst unit this year, but they're still not looking that hot. So the weird thing is for the Rams is, like I mentioned, they drafted really good with the RG3 trade, and it feels like what they benefited from that RG3 trade, they might have given it away by trading the farm to draft Jared Goff, because they didn't really have any draft picks after that in last year's draft, and their first draft pick this year was in the 2nd round because they traded away their 1st rounder, and they weren't able to get anyone. So their first draft pick this year, Gerald Everett, you're hoping challenges and wins the tight end starting job from Tyler Higbee, who's not really that good of a player, who was their 2nd best draft pick last year after Jared Goff. He was the next highest guy that they drafted, except he was drafted in the 4th round. So that's the problem with the Rams right now, is that, you want to rebuild through the draft with young teams, but they haven't really had that chance because they threw it all away to get the franchise quarterback, which is what everyone hopes to have on their team. But I mean, they might have missed it, man. I like Carson Wentz on the Eagles. I'm not too sure Jared Goff is the guy. We'll just have to wait and see with the Rams. What do I think the Rams will do next year? One thing I didn't mention is that you people should know, if you follow the Rams, is that they have one of the best special teams units. So there is that. Zerline was up and down, Greg the Leg, but he actually had a really good year last year. He's always been a hit or miss. He hit a lot of his kicks last year, and then Johnny Hekker has been one of the best punters for a long time. He might be the best quarterback as well, the way he throws some of those fake punts. But yeah, so that's basically the Rams. I mean, I don't really have much faith in them. I don't think that their offense really figures it out this year. If they can't figure it out, it's the way the Rams have been the last couple years. If the Rams can figure out what the hell to do on the offensive end, if they can get Gurley some open lanes, because if they get Gurley going, then that helps Goff. It's all in that offensive line. It's all in the offensive line to figure it out this year. If they could get that, the Rams can go 8-8 or maybe higher. But I don't think they really got it figured out this year. I think they're going to be one of those 5-11 teams, somewhere between like 4-12 and 6-10 or something like that. They're going to be fighting their guts out to get through it. So let me know what you guys think. Any LA Rams fans, what you guys got expectation-wise for this squad? If you guys think you guys can make a playoff run, because the Rams can always be one of those sleeper teams. Where the Cardinals aren't that good, the 49ers won't be that good, the Seahawks regress, then maybe the Rams can be a surprise team to sneak up and take the NFC West. It's a possibility. It's not some dumbfounded idea. It's something that can happen. Something that might be a dumbfounded idea is our chances of winning this game, because Odell Beckham Jr. is tearing us a new one. Let's get into this game, because it's actually a pretty good game. Most of the games we've done so far, well, pretty much every game we've done so far since the first one with the Vikings, has been pretty much a ball, and there wasn't really much to talk about in the game. I actually want to talk about the game right now for the rest of this video, because it's been absolute madness. I've been trying to claw and get the lead in this game ever since we got torched by Odell on the very first drive of the game, and we came close and really blew our chances at the end of halftime by throwing a pick 6, and we just blew our chances again by having an illegal forward pass, stepping up a little bit too much, trying to hit Brian quick. There's Tavon Austin with the catch. We're still down by 10. We've been battling this 4th quarter, putting together touchdown drives, but it's just, or a touchdown drive, but it's just a little bit too little too late, it feels like, especially with the way Odell is torching us. But the one thing we got going for us right now is we are scoring quickly. We just got to stop Odell Beckham Jr. for one drive, and I feel pretty good about our chances. We got a 2-point conversion, so now we're only down 3, so if necessary, we could just bring out Greg the Leg and boom, a 60-yarder and send this game to overtime. All we have to do is stop Odell Beckham Jr., but there he goes again, taking the top off the defense and diving into the end zone, putting us back down by 10, but this time, less clock remains, only 2:47 left. God, nearly throw would have been the game-losing interception. 2nd down and 10. Goff rolling out, trying to keep this game alive. I haven't given up this game yet. At this point, I've been playing absolutely cheesy. I apologize. I've been running the same couple of plays, but that's mainly because he hasn't really changed his offense. He just keeps on coming out and basic cover 3s, so if he's gonna keep the same offense or same defense, I'm gonna run the same offense that's been beating his defense for this entire 2nd half, and it's still working right now. Like I said, we're just running out of time. The Rams, I figured out, they really don't have anybody that can keep up with Odell Beckham Jr. So what I really need to do in this game was just double cover OBJ at all times. I was too stubborn. I didn't want to do it, and it's about to cost us the game unless we can make some sort of miraculous comeback with 2:12 left in the game. Jared Goff stepping up, and Brian clicks into the end zone, and this time it won't be called back due to an illegal forward pass. And once again, we find ourselves down 3. And now at this point, I made a bunch of adjustments on defense. I put Maurice Alexander at a cornerback position. Hopefully he can keep up with Odell. I put Tremaine Johnson on the other side. We hit the 2-minute warning, and it's 2nd down and 10. Just need one stop. Paul Perkins is not going to get the first down. The Giants put on 2 clock, minute 15 left. Eli Manning, 3rd down and 12 is sacked. Robert Quinn screaming up the middle. That's the play we needed. That's the stop, and the punting unit is out. Here's Tavon Austin with the ball with a ton of space. A minute left. Tavon Austin gets us near midfield, only needing a field goal to tie this game, but we want to win it in regulation as well. The Giants pass rush has been silent in the 2nd half. Big time sack there, loss of 1. Next play, back to the out route to Tavon Austin. That's been working all 2nd half long, and why not try it again? Austin catches it again, more importantly out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Out route 3rd time in a row. Why not? You can't stop it. I'm gonna keep running it until we score. 28 seconds left. Now here's Todd Gurley running the football. We are in field goal range, but we want to try to attack. We want to try to win this game. Still 2 timeouts left, but we are not calling it just yet. Running, hurry up. Clock chewing down. 14 seconds left. Goff switches the formation. Here's Todd Gurley running, but Gurley goes nowhere and keeps fighting and actually loses a couple extra seconds. So now at the 12-yard line, we might have one last play with 1 timeout left to try to win this game in regulation. It's Todd Gurley. Got the edge, and Gurley's in the end zone. Gurley gives the Rams the lead. This is the PAT that's up and good. 4-point lead with 3 seconds left. Our first lead in the game. The kickoff is up, and the Giants choose the fair catch, bringing out Odell Beckham Jr. on a Hail Mary attempt to try to win the game. Here's Eli Manning. Gotta let it loose for the win. Swatted down. The comeback complete. The Rams win it in spectacular fashion over OBJ and the New York Giants. That was quite the game. I mean, it felt like we were destined to lose. Odell torched us for nearly 300 yards. We had no one that could cover him one-on-one. It was just simple lob streaks. I was just like, all right, well, I guess we're going to lose the game. Might as well just lose the game. But you know what? I didn't want to give up. I want to thank the guy I was playing against because he kept on diving whenever he scored touchdowns, and that really pissed me off. I don't like when people dive on me, especially when you're just chucking up lobs to Odell Beckham Jr. So that kind of made me mad and made me run hurry up the entire 4th quarter when I might have not otherwise, and I might have just not cared. So I want to thank my opponent for motivating me, and good game though. Good game to him. He did everything he had to do. If I couldn't cover Odell, you might as well keep chucking it. You know, you got to do what works, and that's what we did in the 2nd half. That's why I kept on running the same 2 or 3 plays, and in the end, we just had the ball last, and we ended up getting the victory. So it's all good. Leave a like in the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Let me know what you guys think about the Rams, because it's still about the Rams this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.